Ms. Griswold, when you talk about dark money in politics, you ran on that 4 years ago. You just mentioned it now. I know it's a campaign finance question, but it's really a question about, do you practice what you preach? You monitor donations to the Democratic Association of Secretaries of State. You're part of the executive committee that dictates what happens to that money. Can I see where every dollar that comes to that organization comes from, where it's spent, and how much has been used to support your race?
Well, none of it has been used to support my race, so that's first off, and that's clear. And DAS follows all campaign finance rules in the states that it participates in federal rules. And to tell you, I'm the first one to say that our rules should change. That's why I think we should overturn Citizens United and continue to shine light on dark money. But I think it's just as important to highlight two things. Number one, my fellow Democratic Secretaries of State elected me at a time when democracy is under threat to do our best to elect folks who will stand up for the right to vote of every eligible voter. To be very clear, Marshall, there are 11 nominees for Secretary of State who are big lie nominees, who are election deniers, running to oversee free and fair elections when they don't believe in free and fair elections.
I don't want to belabor this, but to the specific Democrats Association of Secretaries of State, even though it's federal and we're running for a state office here, you oversee something that you would prefer it to be open and the light shined on everything. Can I see every dollar that filters through that organization that you have a say in right now?
Well, you can see every dollar in compliance with the current rules and regulations. So it depends on exactly what you mean, but I've been a champion for shining more light on dark money here in Colorado. Again, DAS is not spending in Colorado. So in 2019, I led a legislative proposal that basically shines light on dark money. I think that's necessary. We prohibited foreign money from coming into political campaigns where there was a loophole. We required disclosure on all political ads and then set up enforcement that was deemed by a court to previously be unconstitutional.
Mr. Anderson, you want to be heard on this?
Yeah, I would. I think this is an instance, again, where my opponent is do as I say, but not as I do, shining a light on dark money and leading a partisan organization that has raised millions of dollars and funneled to dark money groups all across the country is not living up to what you say your principle is. I also think that it drives your partisan rhetoric, things like when you told The Guardian, I believe that if you vote Republican on the outcome of an election, that United States Americans would lose their right to vote within 3 months. That sort of rhetoric, I think, erodes the confidence and trust in our system. And I will be that nonpartisan referee, the fair referee of the process.
Lastly, Ms. Griswold, she says you don't practice what you preach. Do you not?
Well, I would say, unfortunately, what my opponent said is untrue. I never said what she just tried to put words in my mouth. And look, we are seeing the worst attack on voting rights in recent times. There are election deniers running to oversee elections across this country, in Nevada, in Minnesota, in Arizona, in Michigan, in New Mexico. There's extremists running to be governor, to be attorney general, and they say they are going to trample on Americans' rights to vote, so we should believe them. As long as I'm Secretary of State, I will do everything that I can to protect the right to vote of every Coloradan and every American. That's what my record shows, and it speaks for itself.